Well, thank you so much, Carol, for today. And I would also want to say thank you so much for Transformers Hub. My name's Jonathan Sewa, and it's always a joy and it's always a privilege to always be here every Friday to share with us nuggets and information that is transformative to our minds, to our lives, and to everyone around us. So I bless the Lord so much for Mr. Herbert, Carol, Geoffrey, Fadi, Mabel, and everyone who has tuned in today, because it's not, I always just don't take it lightly, because it's always so important when people, spare their time to tune in and to be able to listen and be transformed. So I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity that I'm going to be speaking today. And as Carol just said, today we are going to be sharing and discussing about servant leadership, or how can a leader be a servant at the same time, because it is surely so important for leaders to serve and leaders to be ministers, leaders to be servants to people that they are leading. So this is one of the things that we need to embrace in life, because everyone is a leader and God has blessed everyone to lead in an area of gifting. Because you might not be a politician, you might not be a president, you might not be a lawyer or someone that I'm talking about people that are really known to be leaders, but I thank God that He has deposited in each and every individual a gift that He's expecting you to lead with. So today we are going to be looking at that, and also to understand how can we lead even in our areas of gifting. So again, thank you so much for Carol. And today I'm going to start with a question. And these are three questions, because without these three questions, or without someone knowing these three questions, it is really so hard for them to understand their place of leadership, or to understand how they can lead. So today we are firstly going to talk about who is a leader and where has God placed you to lead, because it is so important for everyone to understand that God has called them to lead in a certain area of gifting, because that's how God has created us from day one. The day God has created mankind, God has created mankind to lead in a certain area. However, often sometimes we think that leadership is for a certain group of elite group of people. Leadership is for a certain group of people who are known, who are rich, who are so known, and but that's not the case, and that's a wrong mentality for people to have, because God has created everyone to lead, and God has created us to lead firstly in our areas of gifting. We all understand and we all know that God has given us different gifts. God has gifted us differently, and God has given us those gifts to lead and to serve those gifts to the world. I celebrate Mr. Herbert so much when he talks about his business and his gifting while he's making cakes and all those things. I get to realize that he's leading in that sphere. He's leading in that position, because he just can't wait for people to come, but he has taken it upon himself to serve his gift to the world, to lead by serving his gift to the world. And that's how, and that's what we all need to embrace. You might not need to first become a politician or to be given an opportunity to speak on an event, but God has given you a gift for you to lead with that gift. For example, anyone who serves his gift to the world automatically becomes great. However much people think, for me to become great, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do that, forgetting that God has given them something that they have to use to serve and become leaders that are able to make the world a better place. And this is so important, in that even if I'm not in a position to be a politician or to be given an opportunity to speak on a certain ceremony or something, that doesn't take away the fact that God has given me a leadership position. God has given me something to lead and serve to the world. So today's good news is everyone has a gift. And God has gifted everyone with a specific gift, just that our culture, our education level is not teaching people to discover their gifts. It is not teaching people to discover who they are and to discover what they can serve to the world. So it is so important that we should understand, how can we be good servants? How can we be leaders that are serving what we have to the world? So I understand we have this misinterpretation of leadership just because of what we have seen or what we are seeing. The leaders of nowadays want people to serve them. Some of them run into political things to make sure that they have a lot of people that are serving them. They're in position whereby everyone is praising them. They're in position whereby everyone is running to serve them. And yet that's not how servant leadership is meant to be. A leader is meant to serve. A leader is meant to serve people that have been put before him. And that's how we make and create change in the world, because we serve men, we serve people. So surprisingly or not surprisingly, to those who are good scholars of the word or the Bible, we all get to understand that our master cornerstone, our teacher, has created us to lead by example, and that is from a place of leading us how he led us, or how he led his disciples. So I get to realize that one day the disciples, when they are moving from Galilee to Capernaum, so the disciples were discussing and having this argument: who is the best, who is the leader, who is the greatest among us? And Jesus was so quiet and was listening to them. And then they reached a point when Jesus was asking them, what were you arguing about? What is the incense? What is the issue here? And all these 12 guys were trying to figure out who is the greatest among us, who is the leader, who is the greatest. And then Jesus never stopped them from wanting to be great or wanting to take up places of leadership, but he taught them how to become great and how to become servants, as well as leaders who are serving men the way Jesus served. So I realized that Jesus asked them a question and said, who is the greatest among you? Who is the leader among you? And they all kept quiet. And he told them, the leader, the greatest among you, has to serve and has to be a servant to many. So it is so important that you, to have a place of leadership, comes not only with just a place and a name to be called that you are a leader, but comes with a responsibility. And that responsibility is only when you start to serve people, when you start to lay your life down to serve people that are set before you. And that's how servant leadership now takes on. Let us forget about people who say, I'm a leader, but you have to study their lives. Are they serving people? Are they serving what they have to the people? Are they serving what God has given them to the world? Because that's what makes a difference. So instead of people bragging, I'm a leader, I'm leading this, but are you surely developing people that are set before you? Are you leading by example? Are you serving your gift to the world? Because that's the only thing that can make a great leader. In fact, one of the people that really inspired me so much asked me a question, because I really had this hunger of serving so much, in that she asked me, are you able to serve? Are you able to lay aside most of the things that you want to serve people, to serve the interest of other people in order to make this world a better place? And then by then I was really so young, I couldn't answer that question. But then she really helped me so much to understand that becoming great is not all about being called a leader or having a certain place in a certain company or a position in a certain organization that is so up there in that you are called a leader. But it's all about serving the people that have been set before you. You serve your gift to the world, in that because God has gifted each and every one. Each and every one has been given a gift. And we need to use those gifts as good stewards to make sure that as we render, as we serve the world, as we serve men and people around us that God has blessed with us, we shall be able to have a very good accountability because we have used our gift well in such a way that we have served the world, we have served men, and we have served people, in that they are also developing and also understanding the same art of leadership. Because you cannot separate a leader from a minister. You cannot separate a leader from a servant, because leadership is all about serving. It is all about serving people. It is all about helping people grow. It's all about helping people discover their potential, understanding what they can do with what God has given them, strengthening, encouraging, instead of robbing people, instead of imposing things on people. You serve people, encourage the people that God has placed before you so that they can become great people. Because when you are in a place of leadership and you just want to be served, instead of you serving, it creates a lot of things, and it makes the world a worse place as we can see it. And I believe we testify about this in the organizations where we work from, in the governments of certain countries. We are seeing this, in that we see leaders who are leading and leaders who are in positions where they are not serving people, where they are not serving men and people that God has blessed before them. So, in other words, it is so important to understand that regardless of the positions of leadership where God has placed us, it is so important to understand the responsibility that comes with that, and that responsibility is all about serving. It is a service. It's to be in a place whereby you're going to render service to people. So it is so important as we begin this year, let us be the leaders that are embarking on a mission or a vision of making the world a better place. And also let us have a mindset as leaders of developing people, of helping people become great, and also help them reach where they want to be. Instead of influencing, manipulating, imposing a lot of things to them for our own benefit, I pray that we change from that perspective to a perspective of serving our gifts to the world, because that's what God has created us to be. God has created us in such a way that what He has given us has to be in service for the betterment of other people. So servant leadership is all about understanding your position as a leader and serving your gift to the world. Because when you do not understand that, or when you do not believe that God has created you with an ability to lead in a certain area of gifting, you are just going to be a follower. You are just going to follow everyone that becomes great, everyone that wakes up and needs a following, everyone that wakes up and needs people to hear him or her. You are just going to end up being a follower. Anywhere you hear everything that comes, you follow anyone that comes, and this is happening because social media has taken, I don't know, it has taken the world as storm, because everyone that comes and has a life, people will always follow. And those people who always just follow without an intent of seeking for wisdom, these are just people who have not yet understood that they also have a place to lead, and that place comes from understanding their place of gifting, their place of having a call that God has called them to operate in, so that they can be of service to people and to the world. So servant leadership is all about being a leader that serves people, being a leader that serves men, that serves the world with a gift that God has given you. So it is so important for us to understand that. And this also reminds me of a story of the two disciples, which is James and John. Those were sons of a man called Zebedee. So I remember that story in Matthew chapter 20, from verse 20 to 21 to 27. So their mom came with these two guys to Jesus, and then he was asking Jesus for a favor to have these two boys one on Jesus's right and one on Jesus's left. So he was trying to buy positions for his sons. And yet that's not how the kingdom way of service and becoming a leader works. Let us put aside the way the world seeks for leadership. But here I got to understand that Jesus rebuked her straight and told her, you do not understand what you are asking for. You don't even understand what you're asking for your sons to be on my right, on my left. That's not how leadership in the kingdom of God works. And he told her that for them to be on my right and left, it is not my responsibility, but it is the responsibility of the Father, which is God. And he ended up telling them, if anyone wants to be great, let him become a servant. If one wants to be the first, let him first become the last. So I got to realize that leadership is not all about us. I don't know what I can even term this to be, but it's not all about us. I don't know which word I can use, but it's not all about us buying certain places of position in order for us to become leaders, but it's all about us become good stewards of the gifts that God has given us in order for us to serve the world with what God has given us. The question is, who are you? Where are you going? What can you use to serve the world with? Because you cannot become a leader unless when you discover who you are, you discover your gift, and also understand what that gift is and how you can use it to serve the world. So it is really so important as leaders to understand that God has put us in this position to serve people, to help people grow, not to manipulate, not to impose things on people, not to put people in positions of them to serve us, to serve our benefits, but for us to be people that are serving men, people that are creating people to become great men and women of the world. So I pray that as we begin this year, let us understand that everyone has been created, everyone was created to be a leader. But in your area of gifting, we are seeing men are leading the world in their areas of giftings and talents. We are seeing people who are so gifted in politics becoming leaders. We are seeing people who are leading in spheres of music, and they are influencing the world. They are serving their gifts to the world, and people are paying a lot of money to make sure that they come and watch these athletes, watch these musicians, I'm even seeing people travel miles and miles to go and see the doctor simply because this person has a gift that is serving to the world, and people are running, people are going for it. And this is how these people are serving. This is how people are leading in that area and in those areas of gifting. So as we continue with our week, as we continue with this month or next month or this year, I pray that we all discover our areas of giftings and also serve our gifts to the world. Let us become leaders who serve people. Let us become leaders who serve the interests of other people that will make the world a better place the way God has created this to become. So let us all remember that you can only impact the world the way how you serve your gift to the world. Without you understanding your gift and how you are going to serve it to the world, you will never become great. If you try to become great without serving your gift to the world, you're just going to end up corrupting each and everyone around you, buying and paying for positions of greatness and leadership, for positions of leadership in your organization, in the country, rather than you serving people. So how do you know that this leader is a leader? It comes from a place of you observing and seeing how they are serving the people that have been set before them, how they are serving their gift to the world, how they are serving what God has given them to the world. Instead of them bragging, imposing, and manipulating people, they serve. They believe in people, they encourage people, they help people grow, they help people get where they are meant to be, not using people for their own benefit to reach where they want to reach, but helping people and serving people. So it is really so important that greatness only comes when you serve. Greatness only comes when you decide to start to serve people, to serve instead of having a mindset of always working for money, always working for a pay. But how often do you wake up and serve your gift to the world without transacting it with money, without transacting it with anything, but having a spirit of a servant, having a spirit of a minister? It is what is going to create a difference in this world. It is what is going to create a difference in our community, because surely as people know, because I've grown up and I've really understood that money is not everything. There are a lot of people who have money, but they have never even exercised a little of what their gift is. So we can have money, however much it is, but it is not that money will solve each and every problem in this world, but becoming leaders who serve the world, who serving people with our gifting, it is what makes a difference. It is what makes this world a better place. So I have learned that serving and service, it is what God has deposited in each and every one. Let us forget about the culture of this world where it transacts service, gifting with money. But before all these systems were built, the systems of this world, God had created men. He had deposited each and everything that we need in our lives, in that the world had to be a better place the way God has created it to become. So as we continue with our lives, let us firstly discover, who are we? Who are you? What is your gift? How are you serving your gift to the world? There is so much in you that you need to discover. There is so much that God has put in you, but you have buried it. And many people are going to the grave full of a lot of things that they have not served to the world, simply because they never discovered them. They never understood the potential God has given them. So let us all embark on a mission of discovering who we are, discovering the gift that God has given us. It might be a talent, it might be a calling. How can you use it to serve people? How can you use it to serve the benefit of other people in order to make this world a better place? Because that is how the world is all about. And when you look at people who are becoming great, the richest people in the world, people that are so influential, these are people that are serving their gift to the world, because it takes self-discipline to understand, what do I have? How can I use it to serve the world? I have this idea. How can I use it to serve the world and create an answer to the world? And that's how people are becoming great. The more you serve, the more you render your service and serve men, it's the more, and that's how you're going to become an impactful leader, a leader who creates change, a leader who creates a difference in people's lives. So I don't know, but I believe I've said a lot, but I pray that we embrace the fact and the art and the discipline of becoming servant leaders, people that serve, people that minister, people that render service, not in transaction with money, not prostituting it with money and other things that we want, but serving with no expectation in return, serving men. And I believe the world is going to become a better place when we become leaders who serve people, when we become leaders who are serving men, who are serving our gifts to the world, because that's what the world needs. The world is looking for solution. And if you are a leader, you need to provide solutions to the world. And you need to serve those solutions to everyone around you, to the community, to your country, to the school where you always go to that organization. Become a servant, and surely your life will never remain the same. And you leave a legacy that people will live to talk about, people will live to use as an example. So thank you so much, Carol. Thank you so much, Transformers Hub, for this opportunity. And I believe that God is growing leaders into this place, and many people are becoming leaders that are going to surely transform the world. Thank you so much.
Well. Thank you very much, Jonathan. We really appreciate for sharing with us these very insightful nuggets. Well, that's Jonathan Sewa sitting in for the CEO, Edwin Peter, the timeless transformer, and he's just doing us good. I think we can all agree. But we want to thank the Lord. As he was speaking about servant leadership, we all get to know that it's simply serving people, not exchanging our services for a cost or for money. That is only that is not the only leadership we can portray, but we can carry out leadership and serve the people in a simple way. Well, he has stressed a number of things. He says that we have to discover who we are. That is the first thing we can do. We have to discover our gift, because even the Bible says that it is our gift that is going to take us heights. Now, where are you going without any gift? If you don't discover what God created you, or what God gave you that you can use to transform this world. Well, thank you very much, Jonathan. We've had a lot and we've learned a lot from you today. Unless there is anyone who has a question for Jonathan, I am going to be closing our meeting for today. Is there anyone with a question before I close? But I want to thank you again. Thank you very much, Godfrey. We really appreciate you for sparing your time and being with us today. Thank you, Friday. We really appreciate you, our Tano. Thank you very much, Herbert. We appreciate the fact that you spared your time and be part of the transformational meeting today. Thank you, Jonathan. We had Barbara here. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you guys. And please note the time. It is next weekend at 3 p.m. We shall be here still talking about different topic. We want to bless you and thank you very much for being with us today. We pray that God blesses you and have a blessed weekend. We are off for now. Thank you very much for being part of our meeting.